Hello viewers, get your green thumb ready because today we're going to be taking a look at Pikmin. In Pikmin, you play as the pint-sized Captain Olimar. Now I think this is pretty interesting trivia. If you rearrange the letters here, Olimar actually comes out to Mario. This is even more obvious if you use Japanese characters instead. Hold on, wait a minute. Olimar, it's Mario backwards. It's eating them. And then it's going to eat me. Oh my god! Pikmin is a real-time strategy game released shortly after the Gamecube launched in 2001. You play as Captain Olimar as you lead the ant-like Pikmin to help recover the parts of your crashed spaceship before your life support system runs out. The roots of Pikmin's development can be traced to when Nintendo's resident Mario creator, Shigeru Miyamoto, was relaxing on his patio one day. While watching ants carry a leaf through his garden, he was inspired. At the same time, he was also yearning to make a project that had hundreds of characters on screen at once. At first, the project had characters referred to as Adam and Eve, which were described as ball-shaped creatures with eyes and a nose. The game would have you oversee the life of these characters, or you could make them fight each other or fall in love and have kids. The problem Miyamoto's crew ran into was that they felt the game was a little boring. From there, they molded the blobs into something with a bit more form. Something you could give orders to, and more importantly, grab onto. Something you would feel the urge to pluck out of the ground if you saw it sprouting. That led to the Pikmin. Miyamoto's gardening hobby had also worked its way into the game, to the point where he used the nature around his house as a reference point for the scenery in the game. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show you a side-by-side comparison because I don't have pictures of Miyamoto's backyard. Yet. This eventually led to the idea of having characters on a smaller scale, something even the manual points out by comparing them to the game disc itself. The game starts out with Captain Olimar taking a break from his deliveries at Hocotate Freight and heading out for a vacation in his ship, the SS Dolphin. That's cut short when he collides into an asteroid and he's sent spiraling down into the planet below. After impact, Olimar wakes up to find that 30 of the Dolphin's ship parts have been scattered. On top of that, he gets more bad news. This strange planet has a poisonous element known as oxygen, and his damaged life support system will only give him 30 days to live. That's when Olimar enlists the help of a local species he dubs Pikmin, after the Pick brand carrots found on his home planet. Despite the fact that Olimar is a stranger to this planet, Pikmin are very receptive to being ordered around by him. He can throw them around, whistle them back, and even dismiss the Pikmin to give him a chance to relax. There's also a special group command he can do where the Pikmin rally around in a direction of Olimar's choosing. This is useful when you want Pikmin to start carrying things without having to throw each one individually, or if you just want to make sure they avoid certain environment hazards. Strength in numbers is a common theme among the Pikmin. You'll use them to break down walls, take down enemies, and carry items back to base. Pikmin make their nest in what Olimar calls an onion after its bulb-like shape. The way to produce a Pikmin population is pretty easy. You can either collect these colored pellets, or you can drag the soulless corpses of your defeated foes into the onion. Enemies will spread more seeds depending on how big they are or how rare they are. Pellets will give out the number imprinted on them, but only to the correct color. Anything else will get shorted. An alternative to growing your Pikmin crop is the candy pop buds. If you need a specific color on the fly, throw some Pikmin in here and they'll pop out sporting a brand new look. Now before you think you can fill the entire level with Pikmin, just know that you can only have 100 on the field at a time. Somehow the onions just know when there's too many Pikmin around. I'm sure by now you've noticed the hovering numbers there. Let me break that down for you. The number on top is how many Pikmin are needed to carry something. The number on the bottom is how many Pikmin are currently carrying it. Or at least trying to carry it. Having enough Pikmin is fine and all, but to really go the extra mile you can keep adding more and more Pikmin to make them carry stuff faster. Pikmin come in 3 distinct types: red, yellow, and blue, and they have more differences than just these prominent facial features. Red Pikmin are immune to fire. They're also the strongest of the 3, so that means they're good to have around if you're in a fighting mood. Yellow Pikmin are the lightest, which means they can reach higher places no problem. They're also the only ones that can carry bomb rocks, which are useful for breaking down stone walls or attacking enemies. Blue Pikmin can survive in the water, very handy for many parts of the game. Pikmin also have different stages of maturity. Soon after they sprout, they'll have a prominent leaf head. If you let them stay in the ground a bit longer, it'll become a bud, and if you wait even longer after that, they'll bloom into a lovely flower. Just don't take too long or else they'll wither away and the cycle starts all over again. The benefit to doing this is that the more mature Pikmin are faster. Now if you don't have the patience for having them stuck in the ground all day, you can always try to find nectar. nectar will make your Pikmin instantly evolve into flowers. You can usually find some hiding under tall grass or rocks or floating above you. If you're not careful though, some enemies can give a pretty powerful blow to your Pikmin and they'll actually revert down the chain. It's a pretty dangerous world for Pikmin. The levels are spread out with enemies big and small. Some sneaky, some aggressive, but most will want to snack on the poor Pikmin. And if you can't stand hearing the dying cries of your tiny army, you'll do everything you can to prevent them from this terrible fate. Sometimes that might involve a back attack. Sometimes you might be so desperate that you'll start attacking the enemies yourself. Even the environment can be hazardous to Pikmin. If one happens to catch fire or start drowning, you can attempt to call it back before tragedy strikes. You know, I don't really get how the whistling helps put out the fire though. I guess it's like blowing out a candle? If you want some backup in the more watery areas, bring some blue Pikmin with you. They make excellent lifeguards. And it just warms my heart seeing Pikmin help each other out like that. It's also really important that your Pikmin are safe and sound before the clock runs out. It's dangerous enough for a Pikmin in the daytime, but at night they won't have you around to guide them, so anybody left behind won't be around to see you tomorrow. Now, this doesn't mean you need every Pikmin on the field to be under your command. If any of them are resting just after carrying something to an onion or the Dolphin, they'll be smart enough to take shelter on their own. The major goal of Pikmin is to find the Dolphin's 30 missing ship parts spread across 5 different areas. Olimar mentions that not every ship part is needed to lift off again, and it's true. There are a select few ship parts that are optional, but it's pretty difficult to figure that out on your own. Besides that, the optional parts are pretty easy to collect as it is, so chances are you'll pick them up without thinking about it. And watching the Dolphin get back to its original form is pretty fun. Some parts will appear in or around the ship as you bring them back, and I think it gives you a real nice sense of progression. One integral ship part you'll want early on is the radar. After this is put back, it'll help Olimar out by opening up the map function, showing you the location of other pieces in the area, as well as where the location of all the Pikmin on the field are, especially useful if you need any help finding any stragglers at sundown. If you need a break from the main adventure, you can take on the challenge mode. This is something of a score attack mode where you try to see how many Pikmin you can grow in a day. The layouts of the game's levels change a bit here, like walls and bridges shifting around or even enemies popping up in areas they weren't in originally. It's a nice little time waster if you want to put your Pikmin skills to the test. Pikmin also had some pretty unique marketing orbiting around its release, one of which was a certain brand of flower being sold as the Pikmin flower. This is the Sutera cordata. As you can tell, it's got a pretty distinct resemblance to the flowers atop the Pikmin's head. Now, I just wouldn't be a very good host if I didn't have pictures of the seeds to show you now, would I? Now, while the Pikmin flower labeling appeared to be exclusive to America, Japan would have their own special marketing in the form of the song I No Uta. Sung by the band Strawberry Flower, I No Uta translates to the Song of Love. It's a heartfelt song from the point of view of the Pikmin. It goes into detail their dedication to Olimar and how they love to help him, fight for him, and even die for him without asking for any love in return. There's also a lesser-known song called Namida ga Afureta, which means the tears overflowed. This song is sung from Olimar's perspective, where he regrets that he couldn't tell the Pikmin how he really felt about them. Oh geez, if you got emotional before, this isn't gonna help. Pikmin was later chosen to be part of the Wii's new play control lineup. This took Gamecube games and configured a new control scheme that took advantage of the Wii remote and nunchuck. Actually, hold on. Do we need to do a new video for this? Can we actually do this in the same episode? Oh, we can? Oh, great! Let's roll! This version of the game makes throwing Pikmin much more intuitive. You point to where you want on the screen, and then you press A to fling. Besides the lovely widescreen view, there's several other changes that were made to the game. Some of these were taken from Pikmin 2, like the numbers changing to the color of which onion it's heading to, or the ghosts of the Pikmin actually matching the color of who just got killed instead of just always using blue. One of the most welcoming changes is that it's a lot easier to swap between different Pikmin types. Pikmin behavior is also improved in the Wii release, like the way yellow Pikmin interact with bomb rocks. On the Gamecube, if you threw a yellow Pikmin carrying a bomb rock and then called it back right after, it would immediately drop the bomb. Oh, what a waste. On the Wii, they won't let go until they finally have a target. One of the biggest additions to the Wii version, however, was the ability to time travel. Sorta. If you're struggling along with the game and feel if a day went differently, then things would be better, you can just hop back to it from the file select screen. Also helps if you want to show that time limit who's boss. At the end of the day, Pikmin was a pretty unique title when it originally shipped for the Gamecube, and it's one that many people still treasure to this day. And if you're feeling juiced up to get it for the first time, then hey, you've got a number of ways to go about it. The original GameCube version is still stuck on a disc, but the Wii port was made available to download to the Wii U not too long ago. We'll be back to pay our debts to the sequels later, but until then, try to watch where you step. There just might be Pikmin living in your backyard. Oh, hey, check this out. Olimar can also just lay down and the Pikmin will carry him back to their onion. What do they think they're doing? They're not going to turn you into Pikmin. Are they?